Right, it's the beginning of September now, and it's been about a month since we cut this field for hay, and I'll put on the link in the screen there, the video that shows us making hay from this field. But anyway, this field is now ready to let the sheep back onto it so that they can graze fresh pasture. But if we're going to do that, they're going to make a beeline for all these nice young sapling trees behind me. So what we're going to do is we're going to fence off this area with stakes and stock netting, and so that's what we're going to do. It's probably about, in total, probably about 100 meters or so. No, I'm guessing it's about 100 meters. I'll see how much netting I've got left and then I can tell you exactly how long it is. But that's what we're going to do in this video. This little woodland area here, we're trying to grow for coppice, for wood, firewood. So it does need protecting because the sheep will pick at the bark. So yeah, that's what we're going to do now. So we've got a hodgepodge of new and old stakes here. These are 5'6" stakes. We've got 100 meters of stock netting there. Got a whole load of staples, nails, our auger, which I've also got a review on as well. And so we'll see how we get on. We'll probably need a few more stakes, to be honest, but we'll see how we get on, and I'll take it from there. Sonia's just putting the stakes out behind me, and I'll get the auger up and running. Okay, so we've got our fence posts in, and we've got our first line of fence netting in. I've always found it a problem in the past trying to get fence line really nice and tight and sort of professional looking. I've never really quite found the secret, but one thing which does help is using these gripples. I haven't tightened these up fully yet, but I put the gripples on each line, and these are sort of one-way ratchets, as it were, so you can really sort of bring the two lines of the fence close together without really much effort at all, and it just tensions the whole lot. Now, I haven't tensioned the bottom ones yet. I put a little bit of tension on the top line there, but what I do need is like a sort of straining post, so that this end post here can take all the pressure. Now normally whenever I do fence lines, I put a secondary post here, then a horizontal post, and then a diagonal load of wire which I tension up, and it means that that post will never move at all. It's probably easier if I just show you, to be honest. So here we got another fence that I did earlier. We've got the straining post there, we've got another post there, we've got a horizontal beam going across, and most importantly we've got this diagonal wire that's been wound around this this sort of stake here to get it under quite a lot of tension, and you create this triangle. And in doing so, it means that however much force you put on the fence wire in that direction, this post here just simply isn't going to move. It's absolutely rock solid. And so this is quite a good arrangement if you're going to put a lot of tension on fence wire. It works for us anyway. But to be honest, I've run out of fence posts, so I'm going to have to do it in a slightly sort of Heathcliff way and put a diagonal in. So just to sort of demonstrate the point, what I'm going to do, I've put a hole down there, and what I'm going to do is just put this kind of affair in to stop this post from moving that way. That's the idea anyway. It's not going to be perfect, but at least we'll get some tension on the fence line. See how it goes anyway. So I've finished tensioning all these gripples up, so they're nice and tight, and as a consequence the whole fence line is all really nice and tensioned up nicely now. And all I've done with these posts here is just loosely put in staples. These aren't banged in all the way, nearly all the way, but if I ever need to retension the fence, these will allow the wire to slide through if need be. Oh, I haven't done those. I'll have to do those 4 down there. But anyway, I've done all the others, all in exactly the same way, so the wire can slide if need be. So yeah, I think this side is more or less done. I'll just to say, I'll tidy up the these stray wires which I've got here. There we go. So we've got the these little tidies. These are very simple. All they do is they just clip onto the wire there, and the sharp bit you just shove into the receptacle just there. Just put it on nice and tight, and then there's no way of sheep or animals getting caught on those sharp bits. One little technique that I have found quite useful when doing fences is that when you come to do the end of the row, or even the start of the row, you've got, I banged in a staple there just to anchor it down, but you always want to know what to do with these loose ends. You can wrap them down or staple them back, but what I tend to do is I bring them forward, over the top, then down, and just that very action means that it forces, there's a spring effect there, and it forces it back into the wood, so you don't get any sort of sharp edges sort of sticking out like that. They're always tucked nicely back into themselves, and I find that quite a nice little technique to keep them out of harm's way. Okay, so this is the second side of the triangle done, and again, this is nice and tight now, using our little gripples there. I've got a little bit too close to the post there. Ideally I want these over here so that if I need to tension it in future, then I've got a bit more room to go that way, but it is what it is. And we've also tidied up the ends with these little gripple, don't know what you call them, wire tidies, I don't know. Anyway, that all looks nice and neat. So I think we're nearly there. Sonia's just tying up the hurdle gate just in case we need to get a tractor in here. And yeah, this field is now ready to have the sheep back in it. So that's what we're going to do this afternoon. Okay, so I think this is job done, but I have made a few mistakes, and it's only fair that I point these out as well, so that you know, so the eagle-eyed amongst you don't put in the comments, oh, you've forgotten to do this or you've done that wrong. Well, yes, I know it's not perfect. One thing I have noticed is that one thing I should point out, not that I've noticed, is I haven't got a top wire on. This fence line here is only probably about 1 metre high, and 1 metre isn't always high enough for you know, to keep animals out. They can jump over it, of course. Now I know our sheep can't jump over 1 metre fence, so I'm not going to bother putting a top wire in. Normally you put a top wire just to effectively raise the level of the fence up, but I'm happy with 1 metre, so I'm not going to put any top wires on this at all. Okay, the next thing is that my spacing between the posts here, between that one and say this one and then that one over there, is a little bit too large. It means that the fence can be, this is quite tight, but it can be a bit floppy, and if something is going to be pushing against it, having an extra post or the post closer together would definitely help. So the posts here, they must be a good, I'm guessing probably about 15-16 feet apart. Ideally you probably wouldn't want them much more than say 12 feet apart, or even less if you've got lots of animals pushing against the fencing. So that's another thing. Right, the other little mistake I've made is that at the other end, so I'm just going to go to the other end. It's not so important on the fence which we've just done, but if you've got longer stretches of fence line and you want to put more pressure on the the line, you'll notice that what I've done at this end is I've got the fence coming along and I've tied it off halfway round here. Now, if you put a lot of force on the fence going that way, what's going to happen is that this is going to it's going to want to rotate, so that this sort of, you know, stretches out into a straight line. So ideally what you really want to do is to bring this further around, loop it round these wires, and then bring it back on itself. And it means that you can put a lot more force on this without this post wanting to rotate. As I say, it's not so important on a run of this length, but if you're going to put a huge amount of strain on the fence line, then make sure that these wires go all the way around and join back up with the fence line there. So that's one mistake which I know I've made, which I won't repeat again. I shall severely tell myself off later, probably over a glass of wine, I reckon. The other little mistake, which I think I pointed out before, is that these gripples are too close to this this post here. Ideally, I should have started a lot further along so that I had more play when I tightened it up. That will be another mistake rectified with probably another glass of wine. So yeah, those are the little errors that I've seen when I've been doing this fence, but anyway, it will do us, to be honest. It might only be a temporary fence anyway, but anyway, the sheep are over there, they seem quite happy. They're not in this wooded area, so it's doing its job anyway. Anyway, right, on to the next job. Oh, there's loads of jobs. What can it be next? Probably grass cutting, I think. Oh boy. Right, really that is about it, I think, for this video. So if you've enjoyed it and you want updates on everything else that we do on our small holding, then hit the subscribe button and the little notification bell, and you'll get an update every time I post a video, which at the moment is about once a week. So I hope you've enjoyed the video. Until the next one, bye for now.